Good day, everyone. Welcome. My name is Sylvester, and I hope that you will be getting a lot from this session. You are all welcome, and please know that you are welcome to ask questions, and then I will try to answer the questions as soon as I can. And I hope that everyone is safe and welcome, guys. Just this short session. We're just going to talk about a few things finance related. As I said, guys, if you do have any questions, you may ask, and then I'll try by all means to answer these questions as soon as possible. Thank you very much for sacrificing your time, guys, and joining us. Thank you very much. Without wasting time, I would like us to go through these slides just to get a picture about what's going on today. These are you can email me on this contact, and then I can be able to help you with some of the questions thereafter. So as I said, my name is Sylvester Semono. Yes, let's start. Where do I even start? I'm not good with numbers. There are too many people who always ask this question and say, I'm not good with numbers. But for me, I don't believe that anyone is not good with numbers. As long as you put a mind to it, there's always a chance to learn something. You are, only if you knew it, you are good with numbers. It doesn't mean that you need to be good with numbers to be good at finance. Okay, so just make sure that you put an effort. Make sure that you attempt to force yourself. Make sure that you develop that interest at the end of the day. That's why in most cases you can find that people with businesses, people who are old, they come and enroll for that, let's say a 2 months or a bookkeeping course just to get the basics. I'm telling you, if you put it a mind to it, you will end up enjoying it. So no one you cannot say I'm not good with numbers. Just try to make sure that you seek help when necessary. Just make sure that you force yourself. We always say, I don't want to be that sort of a person that is good with numbers. That's what I think. This is not what who I am. My preference lies somewhere else. This is not priority for me. I'm not prepared to sacrifice other things to pay attention to this. I don't have time. You can always avail time. Everyone is good with numbers. Just put your mind to it. You will see that you are good with numbers. For just to give you an example, for example, think about people who are good in English. They normally associate those people with like being a people's person. And those who are good in maths, they always associate them with what? Being, let's say, engineers, things like that. So I think for me, that is just a lazy idea. So the minute you put a mind on something, you will end up enjoying something. So the idea of grouping people according to English being people's person and maths being, let's say, being scientists or English, I think for me that is not, is very strange. Okay, so once you have decided you are not good at something, the mental block develops very powerfully. So for me, everyone is good with numbers. So again, just put your mind to it, guys, and you end up enjoying it. Okay. What does a possible investor need to see? For me to invest in your business at the end of the day, the idea needs to be sold to me. There's no need for you to convince your investors by making sure that you have got that long business plan at the end of the day. The investors don't have time to go through all those details. There's no need for you to make sure that you have got 100 pages. Make everything easy for the investors to understand. Remember, investors don't know your business, like as you can see here, as much as you do. So again, remember, you can even ask your friends and family to review your business plan and get their opinions. It is a process for you to establish a business. It needs a lot of hard work and perseverance at the end of the day. So again, make sure that whatever you are trying to sell to the investor is very, very, very short so that they can easily understand, and take the most important points. And again, the management team is very much important at the end of the day. Yes, sometimes we start these businesses without any prior experience. But again, if you are lucky enough, you can be able to, bring people with experience so that they can mentor you, so that by the time when we try to get investors, at least they can see that at least that business is experienced. But again, sometimes you can find that you don't have that experience. So the advisors can help you, the mentors can help you. So your strengths and your skills, make sure that you also disclose your weaknesses at the end of the day. Because I realize that, especially when it comes to business plan, people always disclose their strength, but they tend to forget the weaknesses. Remember, a business plan is just an expectation at the end of the day. But when you are selling that idea, someone must just believe in your idea. Someone must say, yes, I can invest in that particular business. So even your weaknesses need to be disclosed when you are trying to find the potential investors. I hope that everyone is following at the moment. And then obviously, if you've got questions, guys, you are at liberty to ask those questions. Again, financials. As you know, those who have compiled business plans before, those who have, let's say, tried to establish businesses, the financial plan is very much important. Okay, so numbers need to make sense. They need to be believable at the end of the day. The investors want to see the opportunity for them to make money. Remember, I cannot invest in your business without expecting something in return. So at the end of the day, when you are compiling that particular business plan, make sure that those figures make sense. Make sure that you research a lot before you can go and try and convince those investors. And again, you must always show how are you going to utilize your proceeds, which will come out of that particular business. Remember, this is all about expectations now. So those who have already established the business now, I think you have gone through this process, because you need to make sure that your business is viable according to the investor. Your business is viable. Okay. And again, you must also show how are you going to use those proceeds, especially with your salaries. How are you going to pay the salaries? Are you going to reinvest those profits which you made? Are you going to retain them in the business so that you can expand the business? And again, are you establishing this business in order to sell it in the next few years? Or are you going to keep this business for the future? Again, that can make the investors to think about whether they want to invest in your business or not. So just make sure that your financials are up to scratch. Yes, no one is perfect, but there are people who can help you. Sometimes it's better for you to spend money at the initial process for you to be able to have a sound business idea. So you can still go and consult with some experts, and those experts can help you with jotting those notes under your business plan. So financials are very much important, because the business will only be sustained through the use of what? Of finance. So the financial part of it is very important, especially for the business plan. I hope that everyone is following at the moment. Let me know if you've got any questions or any concerns. Now, let's talk about the suppliers. Remember, you cannot always work on the cash basis. Sometimes you will need to apply for credit from those suppliers, and then those that credit can help you to survive as a business. Yes. And then I can see a question from Janet here says, I know the numbers are important, but I find it really difficult to guess expenses sales. I do agree with you. It's very difficult, especially where you deal with what you call the zero-based budgeting, because you are still a new business. So at the end of the day, it is not easy for you to decide on those expenses and decide on the incomes. So, but that's why it's very much important for you to make sure that you research a lot. Make sure that you go and look for those businesses which are similar to your businesses. Seek help. Make sure that you ask questions, because if you don't ask questions, you will end up maybe underpricing your products and overstating your expenses at the end of the day. Again, research is very much important. It is important for you to make sure that you seek more information as much as possible. Let me go back to the suppliers. So remember, when you negotiate with suppliers at the end of the day, as a new business, most suppliers will not be interested to give you credit. But there are ways which you can use in order to show them that you can be able to meet your obligation. Let's talk about this now. Become a good paying client. Remember, even if you're not in business, paying your debts is advisable. Your credit history will help you in the future. Okay, make sure that you improve your credit. Make sure that you minimize your expenses. You minimize your liability. So in that way, that will give a business a chance to apply credit in the near future. And if possible, please make sure that you deal with the suppliers who, on a regular basis, report your payment history to the credit bureau or to the ITC. That again will help you a lot because remember the national credit regulator normally access your payment history. So for you to be able to be granted credit, you need to make sure that your credit history is can convince one to those suppliers. And again, remember, if let's say, for example, those suppliers are not willing to give you the credit at the moment, you can even ask for a little credit. In that way, and slowly but surely, you end up being able to show them that you can be able to meet your obligation within a short space of time. So again, make sure that you don't pay late because paying late will attract the interest, and that will affect your credit worthiness at the end of the day. I've got a question here from Renee. How do I calculate how much return I should offer potential investors? And again, remember, it's all about the size of the business at the end of the day. It's all about negotiating with the investor because sometimes you cannot just promise them that I'm going to give you this amount of money because you need credit at that particular point in time. And again, you need to research, you need to check. Normally they say maybe around 30%, it depends on the investment by that particular investor. So maybe you can plan and say maybe overall, all the investors must share maybe 30% of whatever they invested. In other words, again, the more they invest, the more returns they will expect from you. That's why in business we say can be very expensive to have investors in the form of capital because they are very expensive. Unlike if you get investment in the form of loans, because those loans can be used against the payment of tax to SARS. Because obviously, when you get the loan, the interest that you are going to be charged on that loan, yes, it will decrease your profit, but at the same time, it will decrease the taxable income to be used to calculate tax that must be paid to SARS. So again, according to the finance, it is very expensive to have investors in the form of capital because again, therefore, that sense of entitlement, they need high returns. Unlike the loans or the banks can offer you a credit and you can also compare the cost of that particular credit and the interest can be used against SARS. I hope that I did try to answer that. But again, at the end of the day, it's all about how much they put in your business and you end up giving them that return that they expect. Yes, this was about the suppliers. Unless it was interesting, guys, I just want to move on to the next slide and yes, there are too many mistakes or common mistakes that businesses make. Yes, you can have capital, you can secure capital from the external suppliers of capital, but at the end of the day, there are mistakes which you normally make. These are the ones that I just, so there are too many. But lack of delegation. Yes, there are some of the entrepreneurs, they want to do everything themselves. Delegation is very much important. You need to make sure that you share responsibility among your team. So don't just try to do everything because if you don't delegate, you will end up not having a successful business. Focusing on a single type of marketing. These days, we are lucky enough because we've got various ways of advertising our products. You can market your products via social media. You can market your product via door-to-door. You can use door-to-door. You can use radio, things like that. So by focusing only on a single type of marketing, that can have a negative impact towards the success of the business. Thinking that you are marketing genius. Sometimes when you grow, I think you just have to give other companies which specialize with marketing so that they can easily market your product. So again, make sure that you look for other avenues for you to be able to promote your product. Thinking you know everything, no one knows everything. There are other things that you cannot know. So you just have to give people who know to help you with that. So working as a team can help you to have a successful business. Not catering for the customers. Customers are the investors for me. Again, they invest in your business. So customers, you need to make sure that you take care of your customers. You need to have that after sales service. You need to make sure that you ask them. Sometimes make sure that that you just surprise them, maybe some gifts and things like that. But depending on your budget at the end of the day, remember the business will grow from like step by step. But if you can, please make sure that you take care of your customers. Sometimes we pick the wrong business, maybe because we've got capital without researching more about it, without being passionate about it. And that won't give you that courage to market your business. So at the end of the day, choosing a business, you need to make sure that you get all the facts about the business, you get more information about the business, so that you can have that courage and be passionate about that particular business. Don't wait until you've got a perfect plan. Yes, sometimes we want to be successful, but at the end of the day, you need to keep trying. Make sure that you get into those activities. Don't just say, now I'm perfectly positioned to run the business. A business is an ongoing process. Make sure that you start as soon as possible. Make sure that you get talent as soon as possible. Make sure that you get the right team, construct the right team, because if you construct a wrong team, again, that can affect your business. Sometimes people try to maybe to only hire the family members, and that can be very dangerous at the end of the day, unless if those family members have got the skills to help you to sustain that particular business. But again, please make sure that you get the right people in your team. Forcing and influencing, it's all about being a good leader at the end of the day. We know that we established that this business is your own product at the end of the day, but please try to be an influencer. Don't force people to do things. People must feel like they're doing something because they love it. So make sure that you lead by example. Make sure that you sometimes just go and make sure that if you've got marketing team, sometimes you can also go and try to market the product with them. So make sure that they feel happy when they are performing their duties. Rick says, I can't find your LinkedIn page, Sylvester. Yes, I do have it. I think, yeah, Sylvester Semono. But yeah, definitely after this, I can maybe give you more information about it, or you can even email me on my email, and then I think you can find me on that page. Thank you very much, Nick. Sometimes we just jump into the wrong partnerships because we've got capital, or maybe because we are interested. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's better for us to start small, even though we are in those partnerships. Just start small, just check if things will go according to the plan or not. Okay, I've got a question here. Okay, yeah, thanks, Rick. Thank you very much, Rick, for that. You just said thank you. Thank you very much. Much appreciated. Again, constructing a wrong team, forcing and influencing, living the dream too early. I think that is just a weakness that we have in South Africa. People just try to live the dream too early. I believe in reinvesting. Even myself, I always try to venture in most businesses, but I try not to live the dream too early. Not that I'm successful, but I just try to build the business, and the dream will be lived in the near future. I hope that everyone is following us, and I know, yes, we only have 20 minutes, but we're going to be there. Ignoring accounting. Guys, this is very much important. Remember, in business, you do not have to mix the business books and your own books. You must have your own bank account, and you must have the business bank account. So make sure that your books are on point. Make sure that you account for all expenses. make sure that you account for all the incomes, so that at the end of the day, you can make good business decisions about your business. You can make decisions about the operations of the business. You can make decisions about the investment for the business. You can make decisions about the financing part of that business. So if your books are not in order, you're not going to be able to know where you are going, whether you are profitable or not, whether you are solvent or not. So accounting books are very much important. Yes, we still have the bookkeepers who are very cheap out there. You can even approach them. Again, you can even try yourself. I'm telling you, if you can get into it, for example, if you can even enroll for a bookkeeping course, the basic is very much important. You can even compile your own books, and you can seek help where it's needed at the end of the day. Not listening to the advice, yes, you need to listen. Obviously, all the advice, you cannot take all the advices, but at the end of the day, you need to learn how to listen. Okay, you need to be a good listener, and at the end of the day, you choose the best advice. Okay, not putting agreements in writing, guys. We know that the agreements can be orally, but at the end of the day, writing, they must be in writing for the future reference. Please make sure that your agreements are in writing. Not having a website, yes, sometimes you don't afford a website, but if you can have a website, that is a good way of marketing your product. And again, the investors will believe you when they see a website that is personalized. For example, let's say just put your company name and something like that. Waiting too long to hire, please make sure that you hire if needed. Yes, if you can afford to hire the right staff, make sure that you don't wait too long so that your business can grow easily. Don't waiting too long to seek financing. Yes, sometimes we're just we're afraid to expand. We wait too long. So if you know that you can qualify for that financing, please just make sure that you get that financing, but use the financing for the good cause. Make sure that you use the financing for the benefit of the business. Okay, so that business will grow and it will give you more funds in the future. So make sure that you seek financing as soon as possible. Underpricing your product or service. This can be very difficult, like the question that was asked before about not being able to know which expenses, how to cost, how to calculate those sales. Again, underpricing can affect your business at the end of the day. It means, as I say, you need to research more. You need to know more about the market where you operate, so that you can be in line with those costing, and the markups in that particular environment. Sometimes you can even mark those products lower, but as long as you don't underprice. Because when you underprice, that will affect the success of the business. Your profit will decline due to underpricing. Because when you underprice, remember your costs will remain constant. So you need to be very careful when it comes to the financial. Accounting is very much important. Finance is very much important. Thank you. Let me continue. What are investors and bankers looking for? A business performance over time and against the other companies. Remember, we said financials are very much important. If you keep your books in order, you can be able to analyze those trends at the end of the day. Because that will show you that in this period, the profit, let's say, was 10%, and then maybe the next period, the profit was 20%. You can be able to read those figures. And the investors normally ask for them because they want to know the performance of the business. Remember, the financial statements will play an important role in this regard. The balance sheet, you can also call them the statement of financial position, very much important. The income statement, you can also call it the statement of comprehensive income, very much important. Again, you can also compare what you call the cash flow statement. The cash flow statement is very much important. Remember, the cash is king. So that's why you need to make sure that you analyze your books according to those figures. Okay, Monique, there's a question here. Okay, I've got Kiran here. Kiran says, what record keeping? Okay, I just said, okay, my connection has been restored. Kiran was saying, what record keeping system will you advise for informal traders who have no access to computers? It's going to be very difficult. Okay, obviously you can write, like writing for now, I think the manual accounting is going to be a challenge. So if you don't have access to computer, I think I can just advise you maybe to do it manually, but if you can just get maybe a simple PC so that you can also use the Excel. So Excel is also perfect for bookkeeping system. Yeah, but it can be very difficult if you don't have that. But you can still do it manually, but it will be a lot of yes, we can still do it manually. Just said, what are the most essential books that you need? I think by saying book, I think maybe we are referring to a bookkeeping system. For me, I think for the beginner, Excel is still advisable. But if you can, Pastel software is also good. I'm also using Pastel software for my small bookkeeping services. So I do use Pastel. But at the end of the day, it's all about the affordability. So if you cannot afford, just go for what you can afford for now. Okay. Monique says, I can't afford a bookkeeper. What financial information must I keep and what financial accounting records can I keep? Yes, definitely. Obviously, the most important thing here, you need to have the financial statements. But remember, the financial statements start somewhere. You need to know how to come up with the cash books. By the saying cash books, I'm referring to the cash book receipts and the cash book payments. And that process will take you through the accounts because you need to have the accounts in the general ledger. Like you must open the equipment account, the bank account, things like that. And again, you need to make sure that you also have the trial balance because that trial balance will also help you to transfer to the financial statement. Remember, the aim is to have the financial statement. But unfortunately, that is a process which we need to follow. We cannot just say, here are the financial statements. But keeping the source document is very much important. Keep those source documents because those source documents will help you to deal with that particular flow in accounting. Yes, you can still use a manual way of dealing with accounting. Let's say you don't have a laptop like the question there. If you don't have a laptop, yes, even if you do it manually, but it's going to take you long, make sure that you keep those records, keep the receipts, keep the invoices, make sure that you write them down, even though they are not in a formalized way. Thereafter, when you get a bookkeeper, you can be able to transfer or to convert to the new system. But yes, just make sure that if you can, maybe just seek for that a laptop or a PC that can help. Because yes, bookkeepers can be very expensive because they're also running a business at the end of the day. But again, sometimes friends, can advise, you can sometimes friends like Sylvester, sometimes you call them Sylvester. I do have friends who do that. They say, Sylvester, I'm doing this books for my business. So can you please help? So yes, I just give them advices, the structure and things like that. But where they have to need, because sometimes those financials need to be signed by someone who's being accredited, is then that they can take it to that person. At least it cannot be that expensive like that. Okay. Monique says, what must go into a ledger? Remember, a ledger is all about the list of accounts. For example, if you have got a bank account, a bank account must be part of the ledger. Remember, there are two different types of ledgers. We've got the general ledger, which is the GL, and we have got the debtors ledger, which is the individual ledgers. So you must have two separate books of ledgers. So under the general ledger is where you open. Let's say you bought a computer, it's an equipment. You're gonna have an equipment account. You bought motor vehicles, you're gonna have motor vehicles account. And normally they are displayed under the trial balance. Okay, if you have creditors or accounts payable, you're going to have an account for accounts payables there. So the ledger account is like all those things that you bought or like what you owe, all the liabilities, all the assets, etc. Sales accounts, the cost of sales account, the advertising account. So all those go to the general ledger. But when it comes to the individual ledgers, it's where, for example, you are dealing with your creditors, the suppliers. Let's say you owe Sylvester supplier. So you must make sure that there's an account for Sylvester and show that you owe Sylvester, let's say, for example, 5,000. Okay. So again, you need to have two sets of books, the general ledger and the individual ledger. Hopefully, Monique, this makes sense. Rick, FNB's free instant accounting automatically keeps your books up to date. SM Easy is cheap, easy for use for non-financial people. It talks of suppliers, customers rather than creditors and debtors. Yes, as I said before, yes, there are various ways of getting help. You can find, information from various sources. So as long as your books are up to date. And again, it's all about affordability. Like you said, it's free. If it's free, please share with others. As you can see here, guys, you can also go and access a free service according to Rick. Any other question, guys? I hope we're still on the right path. Yes. Let's go back to my slide quickly there. And again, the location, the industry, and the stage of development, those are the interests of investors. The market size, again, investors have got different preferences. They finance according to the size of the business. And again, you need to make sure that you are very competitive and you can overcome the competition from other competitors. Okay, so make sure that your business is not just a dream. Make sure that your idea is very believable, like I said before. It is very much important to make sure that your idea is up to scratch. Any questions, guys? Monique, yeah, thank you. NetBank has also NetBank also has a free money tracker, which is great too. Rick, yes, you can see here NetBank is offering a free money tracker. Please make sure that you research more about that after this session. So make sure that you get more help as much as possible at the end of the day. Okay. And again, guys, if you can still post those questions. What I want to talk about now is the cash. I think the cash part of it. Remember, you cannot commit without having cash on hand. That's why I said the cash flow is very much important, guys. Make sure that you compile cash flows every time you compile your financial statement. Remember, the financial statements consist of, as I said before, balance sheet, income statement, the statement of changes in equity. Remember, all these financial statements are compiled on an accrual basis. What do I mean by saying accrual basis? This means that, let's talk about the sales which you are going to record under income statement. Sales can either be cash or credit. So when you go to the income statement, you don't only record cash or credit only. You will record the total sales irrespective of whether it's cash or credit. Can you see that we have got credit and cash under sales? And again, remember the credit sales are still to be received. So when you make decisions at the end of the day, you cannot rely on the sales which you made because those sales are not all cash. So now, because we want to commit ourselves in project, we can only commit ourselves in project if we've got cash which is guaranteed. That's why it is important for you to compile the cash flow statement, because the cash flow statement will go to the financial statement which you compiled, and it will only go and what? And record what? The cash part of it. Anything that is non-cash won't come to the cash flow. So the cash flow is the statement we use to make decisions about committing ourselves in some projects. So cash is king, like I said. The cash flow is very much important. And unfortunately, you cannot commit yourself on the money that you expect to receive in the future. You need to be guaranteed about the money before you commit. That's why I say the cash flow is very much important, because we only know that is the cash that we have on hand. I hope that it makes sense. I've got Rick said, you have some great YouTube videos, Sylvester. Which would you recommend for non-financially literate SMEs? Thank you very much, Rick, for that. Can you see for my videos are for the students who are still currently studying at a university or a college, things like that. But because you raised this, my brother, maybe I'm gonna make sure that I've got some short videos about the businesses, maybe where you can be able to get more information about the small business enterprises. But yes, I'm gonna make sure that I put some of those videos so that I can just give you the basic level of accounting at the end of the day. Ricky has said, many thanks, Monique. I will look for it for my own business account that I have with NetBank. Very much appreciated. I think the NetBank is the right bank for you. So please make sure that you use their services for your advantage. May I ask if there's anyone with a question, guys? I think we covered what we were supposed to cover, and I hope, guys, you got some little bit of information. Remember, this is just an ongoing process. Talking about this will help us a lot. Let's make sure that you are not afraid with those figures, guys. Running a business need that commitment at the end of the day. I know it's not easy, but don't just say I stop. No, don't stop. Just keep on trying. Any questions, guys? Thank you very much, guys. If you don't have any question, I think we tried our best. Let me just go back. Let's see the thing. Thank you very much, much appreciated. Uh, Hopefully we'll meet soon again on a similar platform. Thank you very much, guys. Much appreciated. Thank you.